Hey guys, Missmaster1 here, and you're not seeing anything on the screen right now, but don't worry because you'll be seeing it very shortly. But just to let you guys know, this is going to be a bonus episode of Chain of Memories, and we'll be showing off pretty much all of the slates. And there are some missing, I do realize that, but for the most part, we're going to showcase pretty much all the real major moves you can do in this game. So, let's get started. Alright, so starting off, we have our first move right here. This is Ragnarok. All you have to do is have 3 attack cards going from values 7 to 9, and it does that kind of move. It shoots beams to everyone, and actually has pretty decent damage, so it's not a bad alternative for some other stuff. Right here, we have Ars Arcanum. It beats the shit out of enemies with attack cards 3 to 6. You can keep it going if you keep pressing triangle at the right time. But I fucked it up. Here's Thundaga. We haven't seen that spell yet. We also haven't seen Gravaga. We need to use the spells. You just use that card or multiple, amounts of that card in a slate. It does more damage, stuff like that. Just showcasing pretty much what all these do, and we're going to be cutting in between now to show specific ones. This is Warpinator, and if it works, it gets rid of pretty much the closest enemy right there. Next one right here is Warp. So what you do is you stop in 2 arrow cards, and it pretty much gets rid of all the enemies, but you don't get any experience for it. So it's kind of like emergency situation usage. This one right here, we are going to be using Synchro, which is going to be the move. You use Cure, Gravity, and Arrow, and it makes all the health of a target. You target one enemy, and all the other enemies will have the same amount of health. And it really works well against enemies who have a lot of health because it brings them down to little HP, like that Dark Orb right there. Now moving on to this one, we're going to be using Aqua Splash. So it's essentially just like water damage, pretty much, and it's kind of like another summon that we'll be seeing eventually, but not quite the same thing. You'll see later. Next up, right here, we got ourselves Bind, and what this does, use Gravity, Stop, and Arrow, and it makes the target not be able to move. They can still attack, but they're not able to move like that. Guard Armor? I forget the name of those guys, but it basically pins them down. They can't really do anything about it, and you can pretty much just beat them up without having to worry about it, because, if they can't move, they can't come towards you and stuff like that. So now that we've shown that one, the next one right here is going to be Shock Impact, and this pretty much just hits all enemies with a wave attack like that, just charges it up, and you're good to go. You just use Simba and 2 attack cards for that. For this one, we use Quake. We need Gravity, Simba, and Arrow, and it does pretty much all damage to nearby enemies right there. Just rock their worlds by slamming the ground with a lot of force, and that'll do the job. Alright, so now for this one, we are going to be using Simba, Mushu, and an item card, and it uses Terror on the enemies, which makes them run away from you, and that means you can have a moment to actually relax and think about what you want to do next, because they'll be running away from you instead of the opposite. This one right here is Gifted Miracle. You use Bambi, Ice, and another item like Potion or Ether or something like that, and it refreshes your stack of cards, and it heals everyone, including yourself and the enemies, so gotta be careful about when you use that one. Right here we have Teleport. You stop, Arrow, and an item card, and you reappear right behind the enemy, and it stops them in their tracks, so you can get a few more hits off them. Basically, it just gives you the upper hand in a situation if you're in a bit of a pinch. For this next one right here, we're going to be using Thunder Raid. It's just like Fire or Blizzard Raid, just with Thunder Element, just like the Strike Raid we've all come to know and love. It's a pretty good move, especially if they're weak to it. It's a sort of element that, is weak to Thunder. Right here we have Confuse. We use Genie, Tinkerbell, and another summon card, and it does what you think it does. It confuses the enemies. It makes them question who they attack, where they go, and stuff like that. Next one right here is Firaga Burst. We use 2 fire cards and a gravity card, and this is pretty awesome. It just it does a huge little fire wave right there, and it sends a bunch of fire spells towards everyone. And for this one is Reflect Raid. This one is pretty cool. Use Cloud and 2 attack cards, and it sends a bunch of strike raids to everyone, so that's pretty awesome. I'm a little confused to why I actually didn't use this, because I think it's actually a pretty decently powerful move, but there's one other attack that's better than that. Next one right here is Magnet Spiral, using 2 gravity cards and an attack card. It binds the enemies together, it'll suck them up, and then you just do a spin attack to deliver the damage once they're next to you. This next one right here is Tornado. It's just basically a giant, burst of wind, and it sucks up the enemies, and they'll get caught in it, and they'll take damage when they enter it, and when they exit it, they'll take a lot of damage right there too. So, Next one right here is Judgment. Now this one, I love this move, really, actually. Use arrow and 2 attack cards, and it sends the Keyblade everywhere. It keeps, like, recycling, like, hitting the enemy. And sometimes when it's going around in that fashion, it actually ends up hitting other enemies, too. Now this is a really cool move, too. This is Holy. This is the slate you learn at level 53. Use Mega Ether or Mega Elixir in an item, and it does a shitload of damage, actually, because it does 4 bursts of those waves, and it, you know... It costs a decent amount to use, but it's pretty good. Next one is Raging Storm, using arrow and 2 fire cards. And we get a fucking, like, flamethrower or some shit, like fire tornadoes everywhere. You circle around enemies with those, you know, bursts of fire just around you, and you can really take out a lot of people. It's also good for fighting people like Vexen, but I don't think you can actually have it by that point in time, so it's not that great. Now we're just moving on to the summons, which is Showtime with Genie. This is level 2. He casts random spells like Gravity, Thunder, stuff like that. Not that amazing, but he does the same thing he did in the first game, so it's no problem with that. And we have... Next we're going to use is actually Cloud. Now here is Cross Slash. You get this if you use 2 of Cloud. That's actually one of his limit breaks in Final Fantasy VII, by the way. And I'm going to show you this one right here. It is actually Cross Slash Plus. If you use Cloud's card in a different approach to it with Stop and Attack, you can actually use Cross Slash Plus, and it does a lot more damage than the normal Cross Slash would do, so it's pretty interesting there. And we have the best possible thing you can do with any summon is using all 3 of the same card in a slate, and this does Cloud's level 3 move, Omni Slash, and it does a lot of damage. That's actually his ultimate limit break in Final Fantasy VII. Now, moving on to our next summon, we are actually going to be using Dumbo right here. Dumbo is pretty much a water-based enemy. I didn't actually use any specific slate. I just wanted to make sure I could get the damage off. So one Dumbo goes around and he sprays water. I didn't do a very good job here, but you know, it showcases it so it gets the job done. So now that Dumbo's out of the way, we're going to move on to our next enemy. Like, our next slate, excuse me. This is Tinkerbell, and she basically heals you. You know, you summon her, and you press triangle at the right time, and just keep pressing it, and it can actually heal you for a decent amount of time, the more cards of hers you have in a slate. Next, we're going to use Bambi, and I'll just have a Cura card at the end of that. But what Bambi does is she summons health orbs, so it's basically like a Cure as well, but in, like, orb form, if that makes any sense. Next one right here we have is Idle Romp. We use Bambi and 2 attack cards, and it actually ends up confusing the enemies. Had a bit of trouble getting the slate ready, but once you get it ready, it confuses the enemies, and it's essentially just another confused spell with different cards attached. And the final thing I'm going to show off is our last summon that we haven't shown is Mushu, and this is Fire Breath, and it just basically does fire damage, except you can control where it goes. I was derping right here and didn't realize I was in control, but you can actually just keep pressing X, and it deals damage, all fire damage to all the enemies. And there you go, guys. That's pretty much all the moves that we haven't shown off yet. And I realize I am missing a few. I'm sorry about that. But the thing is, we're pretty much done with everything in this game so far that, you'll see later. But anyway, we have made it back to the final room right before the boss. I'm going to set my deck back to the way it is normally for the final fight. And I will see you guys next time on the finale of Let's Play Kingdom Hearts Re-Chain of Memories. I just need to get this one bonus video out of the way before we actually ended things off. I do realize, again, I haven't showed every single thing, but don't worry. By the end, once I'm done with this game and move on to my next Let's Play, I'll have shown everything I wanted to. So, anyway, guys, next time, behind that door lies the final boss, Marluxia for real. And, well, I've been Mistmaster1, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the finale of Let's Play Kingdom Hearts Re-Chain of Memories. Technically, this is going to be a bonus episode, so you're not going to see, like, any of those for, like, last playlist and next buttons, but you'll see what I mean. Anyway, guys, just one last time, I've been Mistmaster1, thank you for watching, I'll see you guys next time. And we're going to end this game off. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this. I'll see you guys in the finale. Peace out.